goodness, what
It
a
was so nice to just witness your stream. You are so good. Oh my gosh.
oh man, and you are too kind. Thank you very much, Luna. How are you doing? We were meant to meet up earlier today, and that didn't happen. That didn't end up going that way. Whoops. Yeah. How are you doing? So how's your day been?
Whoops, yeah. Scheduling with artists can be tricky. Day's been good. I have spent some time in German trains and they were not delayed, which is a seldom occurrence, so that was
Wow.
really nice.
Yeah,
And
impressive.
I've mostly just been doing some marketing prep for the album. So yeah, that's just a lot of stuff I'm doing at the moment. Is just sending a bunch of emails, prepping social media posts, writing a lot of people and all that.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah.
I can imagine you're in like
How's
high stress mode at the moment.
Oh, absolutely. There are so many things happening in my mind at the same time. I'm even dreaming about the album release. Like it's just and it's not just that because I'm also like I've got a couple of touring things coming up. So I'm going to
Yeah.
Switzerland with them in August and I'm going to the States in October and I'm working on my next CP. So there's like a bunch of stuff already like after this on top of the release. So
Oh,
yeah, my
jeez.
mind is just doing
Yeah.
but but you know, it's all good stuff. I can't complain. I can't complain.
Well, that's great. Well, what's I mean, what do you what do you do now? Because I mean, you've like spent so long. Obviously, you spent so much time like working on the album and producing the album and getting it sounding right, and then you make all of the beautiful stuff for the album. And like, what do you do now that you're like 3 days away from the album coming out? Like, what is on the plate?
I mean, like literally do just honestly promote. But emotionally, I guess feel a lot of things. Not just like yeah, like on one hand it's of course just a feeling of okay, this huge project coming to an end that I've been like working on for
Yeah,
like basically 4 years and it's just like you know when you finish a really good book or a really good show and then you just feel really empty
yeah,
because you've
yeah,
just invested so many hours into it and then you're like
totally.
oh whoops. But on the other hand it's not that intense because I already have so much coming up. Like I have a release for every day of the month for this year, with no month break after the album because I have a lot of collabs with
Wow.
amazing people coming up. So there's other stuff happening which kind of helps. But emotionally, you know, this album was kind of something I made up while I was depressed to give me an excuse to basically stay alive, which sounds like really heavy
Yeah,
and but it kind of was. And now it's there and it's out there and you know it's just thinking and these days have just kind of pulled me back to wow, you know, this is where I came from and this is what inspired these songs and listening to these songs and seeing how they are now there and like this moment I wasn't sure if it would ever happen. So it just feels really momentous
yeah,
to share this with the world now. It feels really yeah,
yeah. Of course,
joyful,
and
wonderful.
and it should feel like that because it is momentous. I mean, not only with the amount of like with how like intense it is to put all of that together and like putting like all that work together, but like you guys have done such an awesome job on this album. I mean, you've like taken this like idea where it's like, oh, I want to release an album, and very often it's like, okay, I want to release an album, so let's record some songs and put them out. But you've gone, how do I release an album and do everything that you could possibly do with an album in the space of releasing that album? And you've just like fully gone out of your way to hit all of those marks, which is just incredible. And you guys have done it in such a beautiful way too. Like it's not like I don't know, just the way you guys have done it is so authentic at the same time as like as impressive. Like it's impressive, but there's such an authenticity to it that it's not like you're going, hey, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this, oh, look how cool this is, check this out. No, just like be impressed at this. It's like a really like authentic way that you've done it, which is really awesome. Really, really impressive to see.
Thank you. Oh, you're gonna make me like cry a little bit here. It's honestly like one of the things that I'm thinking about a lot now that the album's coming up is just how, yes, this has become bigger than I could have ever dreamed it, and we did some things with it that, you know, are kind of out of reach for an indie artist usually. Like, having an individual music video for each song, or
Yeah,
the amount of amazing artists that have played on it. And, it was all possible not because of me. I mean, of course, it wouldn't have been possible without me who had like the idea and put this together and poured our soul into it. But like also it's possible because of all the incredible people that like listened to my story and said, "Hey, this is worth telling," and we want to hear it. From artists, from videographers, directors, to the people supporting the Kickstarter, to artist friends like you who are just like, "Yeah, you can do it." Like there were so many times where I was
yeah,
doubting myself. I was like, "This is just an absolutely insane thing to do," and then someone would come along and be like, "Hey, Luna, you can do this." And I'd be like, "I
yeah,
can? Okay, sure."
yeah. The
So
the support
very,
the support
very
is looks
much
really
aware and
amazing too. Again,
grateful
you
for
like,
the people.
yeah, it built such a beautiful like community as well. So it's really awesome to see everyone standing behind you on that. I think Rebecca had a question there. Also, yeah, if you guys want to ask Luna any questions, throw them down in the chat. Okay, well, for one, Luna, Rebecca asked if you ever take any breaks, but we know the answer to that. Um, um,
I do actually. I do though.
I think
Just not very long ones.
Rebecca asked if you're going to the States, if you go into the US of A at any point.
I am going to the US of A. That's such a way thing to say it. Yes, so end of September, I was invited to a little songwriting camp event in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And I'm going to combine that with visiting some lovely musician friends in the States, and I'll fly over to California to record an acoustic EP called Rescue Songs with Dominic. My producer produced the Ocean Inside of Me album, but we completely did that remotely. We hadn't met in person. Um, like we finished the whole album without ever meeting in person. So I'm just excited to actually be in the studio for like a week with him and just record some acoustic, stripped back folk music. So I think that'll be really
Yeah,
fun.
that's awesome. I'm always impressed by how you've like always got something lined up for yourself. Like it's just it's it's honestly so impressive. It's incredible that you're capable of doing that. But you've also, I mean, you've been releasing music for ages. I mean, you've been releasing music for a long time. I mean, your first album. When did
Yeah.
you when did you release? Um, when did you release that album? That was the Mad Hatter album, right?
Prophecies and Silver
Alice is
Linings?
in Love, or was it
Oh,
Promises?
Allison of the yes.
Or was that an
Ooh.
EP
Yeah.
technically?
Yeah. I think Alice is an EP. Yeah, technically.
Right.
Ooh, so I know that my very first single, which was Sunset, was out in 2017. I was still in
Wow.
school at the time, and I got help of my dad. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it was Prophecies and Silver Linings might have been 2022, and Alice would have been, I don't know, 2019 or 2020 or something. It's crazy to think about, honestly, because it just feels like I started yesterday. But you probably know that feeling too. Like you've been making consistently amazing music for such a long time, and I'm so impressed by your range. Like as an actor, as singing these incredible covers, and just like Freddie Mercury is not easy to do. Like holy smokes, like what? And then you also write incredible originals, and you're a producer, and it's like
Well,
leave some talent for the rest of us. Seriously, it's kind
I'm
of
just
rude.
yeah. I'm actively looking up to your what's the word? The word is uh prolific. Prolific is the word they usually use for writers of your class, because you just naturally write and it just comes to you, and you do such a great job at being prolific about releasing music and doing it at a pace that like not even necessarily about the pace, but like you're because you're not just putting out like spewing out nonsense all the time, you like every song is really like heartfelt and important. which is awesome. And yeah, that like being prolific at writing that way is an incredibly impressive thing. So I mean, yeah, I did a lot of work over the like few years and with the covers and everything, but I do hope to release more music and sort of in a way follow in your steps to, with like how amazingly you're releasing those songs. Um, so yeah, no, you're a big inspiration though, for sure.
Well, I'm very, very excited to hear all the amazing music you're gonna release because your originals are just amazing, incredible. And you know, like there's no right or wrong way to write. Like I'm just kind of a quantity of a quality writer. I just
Sure.
write a bunch of stuff and then I pick the best.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of other people are more like just crafting a song for a longer period of time. And ultimately, the amount of usable song is the same. I just have more byproduct songs.
Yeah.
So it's just yeah,
Well, there's a good question here
really
from
really impressed with everything you do as well.
thanks, Luna. There's a good question here from Hannah in Australia asking if you're ever feeling creatively low or finding it hard to write. Is there anything you do to sort of recharge, if that makes sense? Like, I guess we're talking about writer's block and that creative block, I guess.
I mean, with creatively low or finding it hard to write, I've kind of what's helped me a lot is just give myself permission to suck. So I just instead of being like it's only worth writing something when it's good, I'll be like, okay, I know today I am not going to write anything good, but I'm gonna write anyway.
Yeah.
And it will suck, and that's okay, but it exists. And I think that's just kind of helped me get through writer's block, where I just kind of wrote a bunch of terrible songs
Yeah.
and and just kind of allowed myself to write something because a lot of writer's block I think is just being afraid of not creating something good. And we're usually always able to create something. We're just not able to create something good all the time. So I think that's kind of something that helps you. And when it comes to recharging, for me, that can sometimes genuinely just be getting inspired by other people's art and music. So I might just listen to like a great album by someone. I have this playlist called To Be Heard with song recommendations and album recommendations of people that have given me, which by the way is a great thing to do when you're constantly getting recommendations that you
Yeah.
never listen to. I just put them in that playlist. It's really long, but at least I have like something to go into. So often then listening to other people's music or you know going to a museum looking at some pretty art reading a good book can be like hugely inspiring if I'm feeling a little disconnected from my creativity as well.
It's so interesting that you talk about like the that like permission to suck being your way of like sort of pushing through that creative block in a way. It makes so much sense, but I find myself very much on the like opposite side of that spectrum where I do think like you were talking about in the way one writes, I definitely think I'm the type of person that enjoys when a song comes to me, I enjoy like figuring that song out and it becomes like the important thing. You know what I mean? I pay attention to that song
Mm.
in that way. And when I find myself in a block, I very often like to redirect my focus to different sides of music, if that makes sense. Like instead of if I'm struggling to write, then I'll focus on producing, or if I'm struggling to produce, I'll focus a bit more on writing. And um,
Mm.
if I'm struggling to produce, I can do harmonies because I like harmonies, or you know what I mean, that type of thing. And I always feel like that like circle really that like that cycle of keeping yourself in music without like forcing yourself down a lane can help a lot as well. Hey Lorena, welcome in as well. Good to see you, Lorena.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think especially with someone so multifaceted as you are, because me, for example, I I'm not really a producer, although I've been starting to dabble in it a little bit.
Yeah,
But like I genuinely feel like when you have more of those facets you can play it with, that's such a good advice as well to just kind of let lay down the thing you're struggling with to work on something else. Also, like when I'm writing a song and I'm struggling with the bridge, I might just be like, okay, I'm going to write another verse now.
yeah,
Just kind of write something that you know you can write instead of getting stuck on the thing that you're stuck on. That's
sure.
a really good approach. I'm actually curious because you're someone who's done a lot of covers and also the cover shows. Do you feel like the covers that you learn affect the songs that you write as original songs? Since we're talking about like the interconnectivity of this different aspects of music.
It's so interesting because I like that's something that I've wondered for a while, and I think that it isn't as large of an effect as people expect it to be. Like I think you see like even my family like I do Queen so much and I perform as Queen so much, and then you think, oh well, surely you're going to start writing music that's similar to Queen's music, but it
Hmm.
doesn't necessarily work out that way at all. Sometimes, sometimes it's still like a very different thing, and I think it's one of those things where um, once you like finding that you have some kind of a style, then all those little things that you learn and listen to along the way are adding to that style in some kind of way. Like I know that I enjoy um, I know that I enjoy the sound of Queen's music, but the writing doesn't necessarily come out the same, or um, like the vocals of Queen come through a little bit here and there, but not like fully. So it all becomes, I guess, it all becomes part of your like your pinboard that you take things off of here and there. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, less than I even would have expected. Because
Yeah,
there've been times
like
where I've
little
been like,
puzzle pieces.
yeah, there've been times where I've been like, why don't I
Mm.
write songs like Queen writes songs? And it's like, because I'm not Freddie Mercury or Brian May. It's like I'm not those people. That's not what's gonna come out.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it makes sense for it to not be exactly like that, I think, but you already answered a little bit like, yeah, sometimes you might have the vocals or you might have
Yeah,
certain things that you love about what they do kind of seep through into your writing style.
yeah. Everything
That's
influences you
really
in
cool.
some kind of way. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So your album is releasing
Yeah.
on Friday, and do you have like one final song coming out with that one? Is there multiple songs releasing as the album releases?
Hmm.
So how's that working?
It's one
What
final
could we
song.
one final song?
Yeah. And it's called "To the Woman in My Mirror," and it's a
Ah,
love song to myself. I mean, a lot of people might know it from stream. I've played it on stream before,
yes.
and the video turned out so freaking gorgeous. I cried the first time I saw the cut of that, and it's a really meaningful one for me. It's actually, and this is a bit counterintuitive because the album is a journey from darkness to light, right? So you have kind of my journey falling into depression and recovering from it, and the songs have been kind of dark and then getting better, and a lot of people assume that it's like a chronological release,
Yeah.
but funnily enough, this is like the first song that I ever wrote. I wrote this song long before I started struggling with depression,
Right. Because
and
I
it's
think
just
this is the
been kind of
one.
a
Yeah, I think this is the one from the album that I knew before the album started releasing, I believe.
yeah, yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's
It's just
very,
one I've played a lot.
yeah, it's a beautiful song. And I mean, I think to have that like ended off, I mean, you could say better, but I also think it's such that idea of that reflection and talking so deeply with like the person in the mirror is, I think, very largely what you see in the album entirely. There's so much introspection in that album, and there's so much like,
Mm.
again, like that authenticity is so clear throughout the album that having a song like that end things off is a really like a really nice touch. It makes a lot of sense, I think.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. I think it's just kind of the final message of the album. It's not necessarily, it's not darkness, light, and suddenly everything's good and shiny
Yeah.
forever because, we're human beings and life goes up and down. I believe I wrote a song about that as well. And it's
Almost like
high, low, high, low.
you go through highs and lows and highs and lows and high
Yeah,
lows and low highs
high, low, high,
and
low. Um, so I think the message is just that the thing that matters or that we can improve or that we can invest in is our relationship with ourselves, because through those highs and
mm,
lows we're the one person that we're always around with, and we're all we're gonna stumble and we're gonna like fall into the same patterns again sometimes, and that's okay because we can be there for ourselves, we can learn to cope, and we can learn to be kinder to ourselves when those things happen. And I think ultimately that's kind of the takeaway. So that's why I wanted the last song to not be lighter than before, which is, you know, the second to last song, which is just I feel lighter than before, and it's a happy and wonderful tune, which is wonderful. But I kind of wanted to end it a little bit more in that depth of introspection of like,
Yes.
okay, hey, to the woman in my mirror, to my eyes and my soul, you know, just I'm
Yeah.
here.
For
I'm
sure.
here for you.
It's a really really fantastic like release process that you guys have done. How have you? Oh, I wanted to say before I ask, um, "Lighter Than Before" might be my favorite from the album so far. You know, I listened to that song. I listened to that song again today, and it's just so beautiful. Um, and there's so many like really really strong, really beautiful songs on this album. And I think what's also amazing is that it's an album that I think everyone can find something in. You know, I really do believe that when I say that. I'm not just saying that. I really think the like scope of songs make it possible for like anyone to find a song in there that they enjoy, which is really 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 awesome. I wanted to ask though, how have you found the singles release process? Because I know you mentioned that to me before you've been releasing, and now that you're towards the end of it, like how have you found that experience? Has it been like as an artist, have you found that interesting in any way?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I knew I would have to find a little bit of a compromise because I knew I wanted to do a concept album. But nowadays, those that are indie artists or connected know that like dropping a full album, especially as an unknown artist, is kind of a waste.
Yeah,
In the sense of that you won't reach a lot of people, and you won't reach a lot of new people, and a lot of songs won't get the attention that they deserve
yeah,
because it's just no longer are buying people an entire CD in order to hear the songs. They can just kind of listen to one song and not know at all about the others. So it's just kind of changed, and I wanted to make sure that I can tell the story of the concept album and still give all the songs the attention they deserved. So that's kind of why I decided to go for releasing the songs in album order, month by month.
yeah.
What I've learned is, well, it's really a lot of work to release a song a month.
She's
I
I can't
also
imagine,
learned,
so much work.
yeah, the one promo ends and the next promo starts basically because you kind of have like 2 weeks before and after each release
Yeah.
promoting. But I also learned that creating a story like this does get people connected to it.
Mm.
Every song kind of reached more people, and people would rewatch the other videos, and I think that's kind of it definitely worked to take people along on the journey, which I was hoping for, but I didn't know because as I think Becky mentioned in chat, um, not that many people have done this kind of thing, especially not at our size, which, you know,
Yeah.
we have a lovely community, but we're not, you know, huge artists or have a label behind us. So
Yeah. No.
not that many artists at that size are like, here are 10 music videos.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um,
But
I
I
was
think that's
feeling
also largely
really
because
grateful for people actually checking these out and following along.
yeah, I think a large reason for that as well is that a lot of people find the act. I mean, again, like what you guys have done with the music videos alone is incredible. I mean, again, like to at the like scale of artists that you're at, like to be able to put out a full music video, highly produced music video for every single song that you release for an album, that's like that's an achievement in itself. You know what I mean? Like all the songs could be terrible and you'd still have that achievement, but they're not. They're all like phenomenal on top of that. You know, the amount of effort it goes through to like doing that is insane. And I think that's why a lot of artists don't necessarily choose to do that. I think a lot of artists find you know, the truth for a lot of artists is that it's high effort and can be very high expense to do something like that. And the fact that you
Yeah,
like the fact that you've decided that your the story is so important and that you like believe that like putting those music videos out and making music videos will like help to like push that story even further is such an awesome thing to do.
thank you. And it was crazy, you know, and it is not really worth it. Like there is things that you could do as an artist nowadays that would give you more growth, more audience,
Yeah.
more like from a simple investment return point if you're thinking about it like financially or reach wise, like from a business way,
Yeah.
it's not really worth it. The reason that I made this is just because it's worth it artistically to me. It's just something I really wanted to make.
Yeah.
And you know, I did some short films in art school, and I've always loved the art of filmmaking, the art of making music videos, and it's just I knew that when I tell the story, I would love to accompany it with music videos, and it seemed absolutely impossible. But eventually, I had all these people around me that were like, "You can do this, you can do this," and you know, I reached out to Paul Camarero, who was the videographer of the music videos, and also some of my previous videos. And I was like, "Hey, I have this crazy idea of filming 10 interconnected music videos, and
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on it." And he was like, "Think big, go for it." You know, like I was kind of going to all these people that know what they're doing, expecting them to be like, "You are insane, you cannot do this,"
Yeah.
and they would always be like, "No, no, you can do this, go for it." And I'd be like, "Oh shit, now I actually have to do this. All right." So it was it was such an adventure, and then also like finding, you know, supporting Chris Steps and him hosting basically an entire video crew at his like home for a week,
Yeah.
which is like, you know, just
Yeah.
incredible.
Over how
Uh,
much time did you guys? Over how long was the recording period? The video period?
So we filmed 10 music videos in 6 days, basically. Five of
Oh
them were
my
in Latvia, and then there was
gosh!
one extra day in Tenerife for the underwater scenes, and a couple of the scenes for the patterns video. We did
What?
not sleep more than 4 hours any of those nights. It was just like a crew of maybe 15 people, well, 10 people, and then, you know, some came in and out like as actors, in the middle of nowhere in Latvia with no running water, filming for 5 days. It was just, it was insane, and it was so fun, and everyone was so on board. And I can't believe that I found this group of people. Some of them I knew, some of them strangers, that got so
Yeah.
committed to like make this thing happen with me. Because oh my goodness, like just the video shoot in the first video, right, you see me on a lake, kind of
Yes.
like on a boat,
Yes.
and we filmed that as like night fell, and then we finished filming the last scene of that video at like I think 2 a.m., which is me standing at the edge of that boat and falling into the water, which was really scary to film.
Yes.
But we only had one take, and we finished that. I got wrapped up in a towel, and then people started setting up for the Invisible Wars video,
Jeez.
basically, because we only shot that last falling in at like 5 a.m. We did a break, just like of 2 hours to rest
Yeah.
between those. So I fell into the water, wrapped into a towel, and I'm literally still wet from falling into the boat when you see me in that next video. Like we
Wow.
filmed the entire thing with the plastic sheet and everything right afterwards, and that's just like one example of the intensity of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, also a lot of these things happened in the same days. The
Yeah.
markings on my arms, I slept one night with like rubber gloves and like kitchen wrap around my arms to keep up the makeup intact so we could
Of
film the next chapter the
course.
next day.
Of course. Because it can't. Otherwise, the continuation problems. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, there
Oh
was
my
some
gosh.
some really funny stories
I
there.
don't know if
Yeah.
chat understands just how impressive 9 songs in 5 days is. Because you said you had one song in Tenerife for a day as well.
Well, it wasn't really a full song, so it was just the underwater scenes in Invisible Wars we shot on a pool in Tenerife because the lake was too murky.
Right.
And then in Patterns, you have some scenes of me kind of sitting in a cafe, walking through like a banana plantation. So, like those are
Yeah.
also in Tenerife.
Listen.
But yeah, it was
So
crazy.
10 songs in 6 days is that is like unheard of. 10 like because they're I mean what they're all like 4 minutes long, 4 or 5 minutes long, 3 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's long. Actually, that was one of our running jokes during the shoot. Was the videographer was like, "Can't you write shorter songs, Luna?
I
Why are
can
these all
imagine.
so long?"
Like at least you start writing 3 minute songs and you'll be out of there. You'll be out of there in half the time. It's insane. It's so insane.
Yeah,
I mean, it takes
I don't know.
because I had quite a close experience with like the film experience when because Kyla studied film, and so she's had a couple film shoots. She's got a couple film shoots under her belt, but they did a film shoot that took them 4 days to produce a. I mean, look, it took them 4 days to do a what I think 15-minute short film or something like that. And that's, you know, multiple actors and lots of different like prosthetics and things like that,
Mm.
and changing makeup and stuff. But you guys are, I cannot imagine the intensity. I mean, they were up until, like, they were on set until 2 o'clock every morning for 4 days straight. I can't imagine finishing
Yeah.
10 music videos in 6 days. That is absolutely insane. That's like
It
such
was
an
ridiculous.
accomplishment.
And the fact that it worked out and I didn't get sick immediately afterwards still
Yeah,
impresses me
yeah,
to this day. It was really intense, but it just felt so right. Like everything had just kind of fallen into place the way it was meant to be. Everyone that was there was so on board, so excited, so passionate. We all kind of, this was a group. I had some people like Paul and Davide and Patrick, they like the videography team with that behind some of my other videos, and
yeah,
Davide was the director. They came like from Tenerife, and we had, Lars was there. Shout out to Lars, who's also in chat. Lars the Cat, wonderful streamer as well. As like set photographer, my dad came there to help out. We had Christoph and Zanda doing like the set design, and they had brought Louise on board, who was an incredible makeup artist. So we had like a really mixed team of people that it's like many of them never worked together before,
yeah.
and somehow we just all worked together so incredibly well. It was crazy. It was just this like I just gave this leap of faith that was just complete madness, and somehow it all worked out better than I could have dreamed of.
It's amazing. It's
It's
really,
just
really amazing. I mean,
yeah,
again,
I don't.
I think, I mean, you understand that more than anyone else. I think having a team that is that behind you and believe that heavily in what you're doing is a superpower. I mean, you like to be able to pull that off. It's not just props to you and your ideas, but to the entire team for being like not only capable of pulling that off,
Yeah,
but like willing to do that. Like it's unheard of to be able to do what you guys have like done.
absolutely. It's it's freaking crazy, and I'm so grateful. Like honestly, also like even on a deeper emotional level, because this album came from a place where I was really ashamed to talk about being depressed. When I wrote these songs, I would have just not. I wrote them because I didn't really have the courage to talk about it. And I felt like if the people around me knew what I was going through, I knew these dark thoughts that I was having and these feelings I was having, that they would completely change the way they see me and
Yeah,
potentially reject me, which is, like absolutely not true.
yeah,
But then going from that place, which is so isolated and so lonely and so painful, to, being in Latvia with, just some of my closest friends and this amazing crew that are all this passionate, funded by my whole community
yeah,
that just
yeah,
showed up for that Kickstarter and raised the money to make it.
yeah,
Like the amount of people that rallied behind me when telling the story, and that were like, we see you and we see this part of you, and we still appreciate and support you. Like I just remember there was this one night during the video shoot where I was just like, wow, I've got this incredible team around me, I've got all these incredible people behind me, and I'm telling my story, and I just felt so seen and so loved, and I was just crying. I mean, I was very sleep deprived and emotional, but I was just crying from gratitude because it's just like such a
yeah, for
such an
sure. Yeah.
amazing moment.
What?
So
Which
yeah,
was the
I've
music?
no
Oh,
words.
that's right. Have you? That's the one coming out, right? I've seen that one, right? Okay, so no spoilers. No spoilers. Um, awesome. Well, we had
You can spoil a little bit if you want.
no. I was just saying it's yeah. In this next one, you pay a little homage back to everyone that helped you out, and it's really amazing to see all of that.
Yeah.
And is the music video coming out with the song on Friday, or is it coming out delayed?
Yes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm doing like a crazy 10-hour stream on Friday to celebrate the release, and I'll do the video premiere on stream.
Okay.
So it will happen. I haven't set an exact time, but it will be on Friday. And speaking of, I don't know, can I put links in chat as a VIP, or will they be
I think
will I
it'll
be
no. I think it'll let
destroyed? Because
you.
I
I think it'll let you do it.
I have a link to the playlist of the videos that are out so far. So if anyone wants to, if it's
Yeah,
okay, I'll put it
totally.
in chat. Because if
Totally
anyone
drop that
wants
in the
to
chat.
check them
100%.
out. Oh, I was timed out and deleted. That's so rude.
Is it
Okay,
maybe
it's fine.
maybe I can still
I think the Destroy Storm just posted
okay.
it as well. So thank you so
Nice.
much. Mud love, you're amazing. Thank you.
Nice, nice, nice,
And
nice.
we've been kind of ignoring chat. So sorry, chat. You've all been
Yeah,
so
I was gonna say
nice.
you're getting so
Um,
many you're getting so much love in this chat as well. Um so much. Rebecca saying your work is bafflingly amazing and well done. Um
Thank you, Becky.
yeah, and it's 100% true. You guys, yes, your whole team, you guys are put so much work together. Really talented and beautiful people worked with Luna. She has an awesome team, says Lorena. Um, it was intense but so amazing, says Lars.
Hello.
Um, yeah, again, chat. If you guys have any questions, welcome to. Oh, RJ asks, what exactly was your inspiration behind starting with music?
Ooh. So my parents are both musical. They're not their main jobs aren't music, but they always made music together and played at like friends like birthday parties or things like that, just kind of low key.
Yeah,
So I always was kind of surrounded and sung to sleep, and it's just like it was always a part of my like childhood. But then I tried to learn some instruments here and there. I never had the patience. Um I was playing bass for a while just because I thought Paul McCartney was really cool. So I actually had a Beatles
I didn't
bass and I
know
was
that
was
you were
playing
playing bass guitar.
bass.
That's so sick.
Yeah, but then I at the same time or a little earlier I started writing poetry and I realized writing is what I love. And then I realized, oh, songwriting. And then I
Yeah,
needed an instrument that's a little more prone to chords. So then I found my way back to guitar. And I think songwriting was kind of the click. I did sing in the choir from when I was like 8 with my mom, so vocals were always my main instrument. I don't think I could play bass as well anymore. Destroy a Storm. I don't have one here, but maybe
yeah,
one day we'll bring in. But yeah, so it's mostly just songwriting that kind of hit me like a truck, where I just was like, okay, I'm in love with this so much,
yeah,
and I need to do this. This is my thing. Before that, I was just kind of casually engaging with music and loving music, but that was just like, oh, this is what I'm meant to do. Damn.
yeah.
Um,
I
and I
agree.
I
I
just
agree.
felt like I could communicate with myself in a way that was kind of new to me. How about you, Colin?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, a very similar experience thinking about it. I mean, I was in my main instrument at first was vocals. I was singing from like first grade or whatever. I was in choirs and stuff, so I was always doing that. And then, yeah, when I was in high school, when I was in high school, a teacher who came from a different school just to teach music externally at our school because we didn't have music as a part of the curriculum, um, and she put together a band because she was like, "Hey, let's do some music things." And then I at the time had started learning, teaching myself guitar somewhere along the line when I was like 15, something like that. 15, I started learning guitar, and I got put together with this band because I was able to sing, and like everyone in that band was just like naturally writing, and I just naturally found my way into that writing process as well, and I started messing around with it, and I felt that it came pretty naturally, and I think something that I enjoy a lot about songwriting is the composition side of it. I really enjoy like putting the music together
Mm-hmm.
is a part that I've really enjoyed, and that's why I'm very big into harmonies and harmonizing, and like that's why I try to learn lots of instruments because I really enjoy being able to like see all of it come together. Um, so it's interesting how you say you found yourself falling in love with the like songwriting side of it, um, and I think that's sort of probably why I went down. I've gone a little bit more down the production side as well because I'm like a big fan of putting everything into together. You know, I enjoy doing that.
Mm.
So it's very interesting
Yeah, it's
hearing.
nice to see things fall into place. It's very
Yeah,
satisfying.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So
Yeah.
you have the album coming out on Friday. Then again, those of you who haven't like headed over to Luna's channel and all of Luna's places on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever the hell you are listening to music, put in Luna Keller. Um, Majority of the album, 95% of the album, 90% of the album is out and
Yes,
available to
that's true.
and and available to listen to. So if you want to go get a head start on that album, you go listen because they are beautiful, beautiful songs. The artworks are also just incredibly stunning. Every like aspect of this album
Yeah,
has been so deeply thought about. Um, it's
big shout out to Lara Jimeno who did the artwork.
yeah,
It's just she's amazing, and it's yeah, I'm so grateful. We have Lars's photo as well, actually, from the
yes,
video shoot, and yeah, I think I have some of the singles are in here too.
yeah,
She painted like a cover for every single chapter, and I'm so lucky. Again, just having such a great team because I could never draw like this. It's just super awesome.
it's really such a like phenomenal thing you guys have put together. Truly, is there something that you would want chat to do now with all of this wonderful information about what you've got going on?
Well, I do have a pre-save link, so if you want to, I can try again to get blocked, but yes, I got time that again. Okay, I'll whisper it
I think
to the mod.
don't worry, RJ's Destroyer Storm's got you. We can still see it, so we can literally just copy paste it for you.
Oh,
Um,
okay, cool.
it
There we
doesn't
go.
fully delete it for
So
us.
that
So
really helps out
there we go. You're
because
you're
when it's
you're now
pre-saved,
permitted.
it's added to your
RJ's got you
library.
covered.
Thank you so much.
You can now post
If
links.
it's pre-saved, it's added to your library, so you won't miss it. You got a notification on release day, and also it kind of triggers the algorithm, so it can be suggested to more people and shared to more people. So that is a free thing you can do to help. And then I think just the main thing is independently of the album, just chat, be kind to yourself. Like, this what I've learned from this is that if you're authentically yourself and you embrace who you are and you're kind to yourself, then good things happen and people do come together and people do connect to that. So if anyone's watching is going for a tough time, just feel hugged, know it gets better, and be kind to yourself.
Ah, yes.
And also show loads of love to Calden because Calden is amazing. Thank you so much for having me on to talk about my album because
Of
I'm
course.
trying to get a couple more interviews and just talk about this and just to be able to start out with like a good friend and to just hang out in this chill place. It's just such a wonderful gift to do.
Oh,
So thank you for having me, Burgers. You're amazing.
it
I
is
adore you all so much.
it is our pleasure for sure. Destroy Storm, thank you so much as well for dropping all of those links. Destroy Storm went out of their way to find a bunch of your links and drop them in the chat. So do go click on those links, click
Thank
on
you so
links,
much,
click on
Mod Love.
buttons, do all of that wonderful stuff. The album coming out on Friday. We are so excited. I'm so excited.
Woohoo!
Um, I can only imagine you're like giddy with nerves and excitement and all of the emotions. And yeah, are you going to be on
I
any
look calm, but actually I'm just shaking.
just bouncing around? Are you going to be on any other streamers channels like this week sometime? And if anyone wants to catch some more,
Um, After the release, I'll likely I've been talking to Asa the Inspirator about chatting a little bit too, so I'll probably be over there.
cool,
And I also have of course, my big 10-hour stream, which I have a bunch of guests planned for that were part of
awesome.
um,
And that's on Friday.
creating the album. So I have the videographer of the albums that's coming in. That's on Friday exactly. So it will be from basically noon UK time to till what am I saying? Is it noon? Yes, it's noon to 10 p.m. UK time. And I have a bunch of people. Like I have some of the artists that have like played on the album that are also streamers. So people like Joey Afner, Thomas Levine,
Yeah,
that are gonna pop by. I also have some people involved in the videos. Lars will be there on screen as well, who's in chat right now. I'll have the mastering engineer of the album, Sam Moses, who's also absolutely incredible. So a bunch of really awesome people there to chat about the album and a lot of shenanigans and wonderful fun that will happen there as well. So
That's awesome.
Really
Well,
excited about
yeah,
that.
so then everyone must just go over to Luna's channel and make sure you're there on Friday, because that sounds like it's going to be an absolute blast. If you're going to be live from then to then as well, we'll finish this side somewhere while you're live, so we'll definitely be sure to raid into your stream at that point as well.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for asking to come onto the stream. It was fun to have
Thank
you.
you, bud.
We must do it again. We must do it again sometime.
Absolutely. And you're always welcome over on my channel as well. It's just having a Twitch sibling like you is just such a gift
Oh,
because you are honestly so awe-inspiring with your setup, with your determination, with your creativity when it comes to Twitch. I've continuously learning from you, and it's so funny because I pushed you to start streaming, and then
yeah.
you kind of pushed me back. So it was just like
We're
we owe
constantly
this
pushing each
space
other
a little bit
down
to each
like
other in a
the
way, and
insanity loop. Yeah, it's we're keeping that insanity loop nice and strong.
just for the record, I believe I still have the head up on who's done the longest stream. But
Yes, you
you
do.
definitely
You
have the head
do.
up on who's done the most insane stream because literally playing like
We did
these
a
songs
hundred
on loop
songs.
for
Yeah.
hours is crazy.
Yeah.
Like what? 100 songs?
Well, okay. Well, we're keeping it. I did the most songs on stream. You did the most hours on stream. That's fair. We're pretty balanced. Pretty balanced until, you know what I mean? So I'm coming.
Yes.
I'm on my way there.
Until.
Until, okay.
Oh, whoa, no, no, no.
I'm just saying
You
until.
you should
So
look out, mister, because
what's
those
yours
100
20
songs seem very doable.
it's what's your max? Your max is
Crazy that you did that.
25 hours, right?
Yeah, I think 25 and a little bit.
25 and a little
Yeah.
bit. Noted. I've put that in my. I've
Yeah.
noted that. Okay.
It was very chill.
Yeah, I wasn't about to do
Oh
24
wow,
hours of piercing
things
the
I've
whole
done
way.
on
It
stream.
wasn't gonna happen. uh,
Only 25 indeed, Lars says. You see, this is the problem. The community just wants us to die.
even you see Destroy there as well.
They're
Doable.
never
Doable,
satisfied.
very easy. Very easy, in fact. Very doable.
Super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Barely.
Um,
Luna, it's been such a pleasure having you on. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
but,
And for chatting with us about the album and all of that. I was super, super excited. And I'm sure everyone has gone and pre-saved it and gone and followed Luna and followed on Spotify and Apple Music and all of those places. I'm sure everyone has done that. And we will all be there the moment that album drops so that we can have a listen. Thank you so much. And we'll chat soon. I'll chat with you on Tuesday. I'm chatting with you on Tuesday. In fact, we'll see you on Friday for your
Yes, it's on the
for your 10
calendar
hours
already.
stream. Yeah, it's in mine too. I put notifications up. We'll see you on Friday for your fantastic stream then.
Thank you so much for having me,
Of
and much
course.
love. And as you know, always happy to support back in any shape or form. I cannot wait to hear your future releases, which I already know a little bit of insider information about because I'm a Patreon. Everyone, please also join the Patreon club. Kalden does great stuff for his patrons.
Oh,
Very exciting.
she's
Very
spitting facts,
exciting.
people. She's spitting facts. Go do what she's saying. The lady is right. The lady is right. All right. Thank you so much, Luna. We'll chat soon.
All right.
Okay.
Bye. Take care.
Bye. Always a good time. Always a good time with Luna. Thanks guys. Thanks for hanging out with Luna and me, for asking questions as well. You guys are a nice chat. You guys are pretty you guys are pretty all right. I don't mind you guys. You guys are cool. I'll invite you guys to the next time we have someone on stream. All right. You guys are